set. See what the crap I'm showing you. To be perfectly honest, I think I'm going to need my headphones. There we go. Now hopefully somebody can hear me. All right, we'll see. Here we go. Hopefully the audio works. I haven't checked that out at all. Yeah, let me get this case box out of the way so you can kind of see what's going on here. I'm also going to, real quick here, get the share up on Facebook. Let me get this thing absolutely out of the way. There we go. Let's see. My channel. Get this bad boy going. See if I can find the video here. Here it is. I'll put the share on it. Here we go. We'll come over here and put it on my personal page. And don't worry, it's going to start real soon. Then we'll go to the gaming page. And we'll put it up there. Huh. Can't post it to my gaming pages timeline for some strange reason. Let's try it one more time. No. Okay. Well. Maybe it's up now. Okay. That's all I'm going to do. It's up to you now. Tell your friends. It's time to watch. So, first things first, let's get the case out and see what exactly we're dealing with. I may need to set some of this stuff down. What I needed was another table. Okay. Let's get this out. Take that off. Gather it up. There's that. We'll put the case down, or the box down. Okay. Plastic off the top. There's the manual. We don't really have much care about that. Okay, let's take this thing off. And then, okay, get that untangled. This guy I'm going to leave all the plastic on since this is going to be a customer build. Let them have the fun unboxing experience of pulling their plastic off. Same up front here. Okay. Get all my wires untangled here. Okay. I guess there's not much to it but to get started. So I am going to really quickly grab a piece of paper to put down so I don't scratch up the case. Guess you're coming with me on audio. Crap, now I can't find where I put the dang paper. Here it is. Be right back. There it goes. All right. This way I'll protect it from scratching. Put it down on here. Let's get some of this other stuff out of the way. All right. Let's pull all these cables off to the side as much as possible. Get them all out. There's one of my fan adapters. Put that back with the fans for now. Okay. There's our 24 pin. There's the other fan adapter. I think maybe I put those on intentionally earlier. Who knows? 24 pin and a 4-pin V-core. That's all we need for now. Let's get these guys up and out of the way. Front panel connectors up and out of the way. Oh, early on here, no guarantees on profanity or belching. Just how it goes. This is going to take a while, so be prepared for natural behavior of a PC building man. There's our manual for the motherboard. Here's the board itself. Okay, and actually we're going to push the case aside, get some stuff prepped into the motherboard. I hope somebody's watching, even if not live. I hope somebody's watching. Oh, that's not the back of the case. That's not the bottom of the case. Somebody tell me what I'm doing here. All right. There's that. I'll open this up. Okay. Here's our board. All right, so now the things we need are going to be the cooler, the processor, the RAM. Great. Let's remove the little plastic lid, open up our socket, and open up our processor. Okay, so I opened this guy in the unboxing. I opened all of these in the unboxing videos, so you can go and check those out. They are listed on my page in the unboxing playlist, wouldn't you know. Now, this was easier last time. Yep, there we go. Here's that crummy Intel heatsink. That's, I guess it's usable, but I guess I should save it, stick it aside. I will save it actually, because like I said, this is a customer build, so they're going to need to get all of their documentation and packaging. Get this CPU out. Okay, here's that. And every once in a while, I like to go ahead and just touch the open metal of the case. I'm not too worried about ESD, as most boards have circuit protection for that these days. But it never hurts to give a large metal surface a nice tappy tap from time to time. Okay, so this guy is keyed. I don't know if you can see that on either one of these crummy webcams. So, but there's a key here and a keying here. Corresponds to two notches. Well, notches and keys, I should say. They're the other way around. Notches on the CPU, keys on the socket. But that guy's just going to go in here like this. Sits down, keyed in on the corners. Make sure that this cover plate slips under the screw. And then there's a little force required to put this guy down, but you push down and hook the tab underneath the little clip there. So that's the CPU installed. I'm going to need to either hope they have some paste in here, which they should. It's probably pre-applied just like the stock CPU fan. All right, I'm going to be building up a pile of packaging down here. I guess I can't just toss CPU fan, the stock CPU cooler. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I actually need in this box other than the I/O shield. Okay, there's a M.2 mount, but I think that comes with, oh, and there's my Asus case badge. I may use that. We'll see. But that's everything out of that box. M.2 mounts SATA, or not SATA, but SATA cables. I think the M.2 drive, yeah, it comes with a screw, but it does not come with a standoff, so good thing we have that. Okay, next thing is we're going to go ahead and install the CPU cooler. Let's get this guy open. I just want to see if I can tell if anybody's watching. I do have a viewer. Maybe it's me. I don't know. We'll see. Here's the back plate. Here's your metal bits, and here are the fan clips for installing a second fan. Let's set that aside. Pull this thing out. I guess, yep, I have it sitting that way. Didn't want to pull it out and have it just drop. There's that. 212 LED. Now I guess we'll see what happens with the fans. We'll see what happens. Okay. There's the cooler. It does not have paste pre-applied. It doesn't appear to come. Oh yes, it does come with some paste. Okay, set that in there for now. Let's get the instructions out for this because every CPU cooler has some slightly different mounting techniques. And I don't want to screw it up. Warranty information we will leave there. Get that back in the box for the cooler. Great. Getting a little sweaty here. All right. First, we need to make sure we have all of our parts. AMD insert, we won't be needing that this time. Intel and AMD, 1, 2. Okay. We have the cooler. We have, let's get these out. And I'm sorry, this may get boring, but as someone who worked professionally in assembly for a long time, I like to just double check that everything's there. Make sure I have things set up according to my documentation, because that's just how I roll. Okay. All the bits out. Set that guy off to the side a little bit. Hey, that's not so bad of a setup I got going over there, if I do say so myself. These two are for the case, the side panel, which I set down. I'm going to set them over here on my laptop so they don't get confused for other pieces. See, that's what you got to do. You got to make sure everything's right. I should have one of those. I should have one cooler. I should have two of these bad boys, whatever they are. Sorry, I might say bad boys a lot because I might. Hey, that's pretty fun. This has a Phillips head slot on one side and it has a socket on the other side. I am going to assume that's for tightening some crap down. Okay, back to my parts list. Two of those. Two of these. I should have four something or others. Where are my four flangey looking things? E. Plastic clips. Are they already in here? Threaded. I'm gonna guess these are what they're looking for. Yeah. They're already installed on this. Okay, so F is these hex nuts. Take those out. G is my sort of socket thumb screws. I should have 4 of those. 1, 2, I'm guessing those go together. 2 screws such as these. 4. Okay, those are also here. So these clip things, these clip assemblies, letter E and I in the instructions for parts, are already pre-installed on the back plate for the CPU cooler. Hopefully that's not something that needs to be adjusted for AMD or Intel, although it looks like it may. We'll see. Okay, I should have 1 tool piece, 1 packet of thermal paste, 2 additional fan mounting clips, plastic bags out of here, 4, I should have 4 squares of rubber mounting. I'm guessing I'll need to cut that. And I should have 4 of these fan screws. Okay. Intel and AMD. First thing, take the fan off the cooler. Okay, I can do that. Clippy, clippy. These 2 clips here. Comes off. Fish the cable through. Alright. Next, we're going to set this aside actually because we want to make sure we get the back plate on AMD, Intel and AMD, AMD. We want the Intel. We have socket 20. Oh no, we have, why am I forgetting which socket this is? 1150. Now I'm looking like a fool. There's my motherboard box. 1151. Okay, so anything 1150 something should work. There we go, 11.5x. So this needs to be on those ones. That's correct. They're supposed to be, it looks like, for the LGA 11.5x, it needs to be set to that middle clip. So there are 3 notches on these for your different Intel chipset boards. And it appears those need to be set to the middle notch in order to fit an 11.5x board. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to attach these guys to the sides of my cooler. Stand it up carefully because those heat pipes aren't even, so it won't stand up quite as neatly as you might hope. So I'm looking for an H, which I should only have 2 of. Yup. An H on one side. And my driver over here. Well, that's not going to be fun. My driver interferes right here next to the block. So we're going to have to do this a little differently. Whatever. May need a smaller driver. Although that's on there pretty tight. Okay. Get the other side on. You gotta love some of the translations here. This cover on the block says, please peel off label before you use it. And I didn't know you were supposed to use the label for anything. But I guess that's just one of those little nuances of English that's not so easy to pick up. Like, I don't know how to speak any other language. Okay, got these two clips on. I certainly hope those clips on the bottom of the, well, looks like they're all in the right spot. Okay, clip goes on the back of the motherboard. Back plate goes on the back of the motherboard. That didn't look safe, did it? Let's put this over here for now. Get this back plate on the board. There should be the 4 little holes right around the socket. There we go. Next it wants me to attach these 4 standoffs. Looks like they have some little rubber washers on them, but they're on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you put them on first. I always like to go around just like putting on a tire in a star pattern or whatever, so that you don't tighten down one side too tight, and you can tighten them all around so that the pressure is spread evenly. And just go back, tighten them all. All right, and it wants me to use the handy dandy tool to tighten them down with, although I'm not sure how much more of that they need. I don't want to, oops, I don't want to break anything. So weird, this little removable socket driver thing. I'm going to say that's probably good. But the little socket driver is a pretty cool, I may have said that before. Did I say I like the little socket driver? Okay, so there's those 4 on. And I think it looks like next we just need to slap down the cooler. Let me look a little further into the instructions here. Is that it? Do I need to use letter C at all? Looks like Intel got those angled brackets. What is that thing? I have a part that's not listed in my parts list here. That's always disconcerting. But you know what? I don't see it listed on the parts list, and I don't see it anywhere. So hopefully I don't need it. Looks to me like we just get that guy bolted down, slap on our fans, and call it an evening. But not really. Okay, so I am actually going to go get my thermal paste. I'll be right back. So I prefer to use a different brand here. Nope, not the crazy glue, the thermal paste. We'll see what we've got here. This is a silver compound. I actually don't prefer this brand because it's Dynex, which is the generic brand from Best Buy. But hey, sometimes you take what you can get. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit of this stuff on, I need a piece of paper. Something disposable right here is what I need. Let's take a look at this paste and see what we think of it. Okay, that's your average gray paste. Now I think this stuff is white, which it is. You know, thermal paste. No telling how long this stuff's been on the shelf with the cooler, but I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit so that it's not so split to oil and paste. Give the little packet a massagey. Okay, I think this is actually the paste I want to use because I don't actually like the white stuff, but I don't know. Preference. And from what I've read, heard, watched, thermal paste is not a very big consideration here, especially for this build. This is just a basic entry-level gaming build, and this i3 is not going to generate a whole lot of heat. Okay, so we're going to apply, let me get this back in here where you can see. We are going to apply a small amount, maybe about a pea size, right there. That's all you need. That may even be a little bit more than we need. It probably is a little bit more than we need. We'll take a little off. There we go. Not quite so ridiculous. And we'll put that aside. Okay, now we need to seat the cooler. Make sure you peel off the label before you use it. So we're going to stick this over here. Okay. Now, you want to take a look here because the Cooler Master logo is stamped on the top fin. You want to decide which way you want it to be legible. Now, you can mount the fan in this orientation sometimes, or the cooler, and at times you may want that vertical airflow. In this case, we're going to do the pretty standard, and I'm going to have cooler on this side, master on this side, because that's just how it's going to go. All right, so the surface is clean. This surface has your thermal paste on it, and we're just going to set this down, kind of eyeballing where these screws are going to go. Make sure they're all sitting there. Okay, and now we're going to tighten them down. Now, just like I said before, you want to do just like replacing a tire. You want to go down a little ways on one corner, go down a little ways on the opposite corner, go to another corner, its opposite corner, and keep rotating. Don't tighten it all the way down at once. You want to be applying pressure evenly and slowly. And the other thing is, I don't know if these screws are set to bottom out, which they should be. Usually these days you can get heat sinks that the mounting screws will stop you from pressing too hard. No viewers at the moment. Okay, so that one's tight. That one's tight. And that one's tight. And that one's tight. Okay, so that's it. We don't need this little bendy clippy thing, whatever the heck that is. All right, so there's the cooler installed. Next, we're going to put, well, we're going to make sure that we don't need anything else because we don't want to look like idiots. That's on, that's on. On. We don't have that type of socket. Put your fans back on. Okay, now we're going to worry about fans later because we've got other things to do. We're going to move on to installing the RAM. The RAM's going to go in these two slots here, these long guys. This is some 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is DDR4, 2 4 gigabyte sticks. And if you saw the unboxing videos, you know this already, but snake decals, which will not be going on this build. But they will go to the owner, and they can put them on there if they really would like to. So, keep this packaging off to the side. Come on, there we go. Open that up. There's our nice, shiny, neutral colored RAM, so that we don't have any problem with, how am I getting this bad boy out? Okay, so that we don't have any problem with messing with someone's color scheme. Come out of here. Packaging. There's one. There's two. Get this out of here. Okay, RAM is keyed. You can see there's fewer pins on this end than there are at this end, and that key matches up, or that notch again, matches up with the key in the socket. Make sure your little wing tabs are open. Match up your directionality and install closest to the processor first, in case that would be a suggestion if you only have one stick of RAM. Always populate the slot closest to the processor first. So I'm going to turn this a little bit because I have to press down into this slot. Come on. There it goes. And in she goes. All right, let's see if I can get this other one for you visibly. It just slots down in there. You know, you make it sound easy. Okay, it's going. Pull this up so you can see. I like to just press on kind of an area that will even out the pressure as it clips down into there. There you go. So make sure these two little ears are clipped up into the RAM. And that's essentially all you need to be ready to put it into the board, or into the case. You want to populate the socket, put your cooler on, and put the RAM in. At this point, actually, I always forget that this thing's got this M.2 slot. And it has one here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the slot. Here's the mounting points. And we're going to put our M.2 drive in there as well. So let's get that in there. Sorry, I got the cooler on in a bit of a hurry, and I should have put the M.2 drive in because the cooler kind of sits over top of that drive's spot. There's the screw for it. Get rid of that packaging. Okay, I'm going to turn this so that you can kind of, so that I can kind of see actually. We've got to get it in what socket here. Goes in here, and we've already got a screw standoff there, so we can just mount the screw. Hopefully this driver tip is small enough, which it seems to be. Pin that down, mount it with the little, we don't want that. We need our, there we go. This guy's got a better solution for mounting this. Get my sharp tweezers out to pop this open. Okay, we need, I don't think we need the standoff, do we? Yeah, we do. Let's pull this out. Put the standoff down. Come on. The drive in the slot. There we go. Now let's sit even. Okay. Ooh, we're cutting it close on these little these little screws. Whew. I may have to find myself a smaller driver after all. It's a small screw after all. Dang it, little bastard. All right. We're going to have to go at this surgically. Place the screw in there. Come after it with the driver. Oh, hold still, you little bastard. Oh. Maybe I should have a drink of water. Stop my hands shaking. Okay. Screw back. There we go. Get this driver on it. Get a few threads into the standoff. This is fiddly. If ever something was fiddly, this is it. It really doesn't help that I'm using the wrong driver size for it, but such is life. All right, now he's getting down. Okay, M.2 drive plugged into its socket and pinned down. Now, this guy could run just with those parts installed, and then of course hooked up to a drive and power supply. But this is going to be our operating system drive. We've got a larger hard drive here, and that is actually everything you need to put on the board before you can set it into your case. So I'm going to put all of the extra parts from, oh, look at that. I see. Now I see. Okay. Well, we're going to put those things aside for now. We will rearrange all of the spare parts once we're ready. Something. I can't lose that little screw that came with the SSD because it's little, itty bitty. Leave it in there. Okay. Get the rest of these cooler mounting parts off to the side. My paste off to the side, some tools off to the side, packaging. We're going to make sure you keep that socket cover because you want that. I/O shield, and I think these are just some of my packaging. Got these little covers for all the ports. SATA cables soon enough. This is case accessories, so we'll want to have those close by. We don't need the cable ties until we're done mounting things. Okay, let's set this aside. First thing we're going to need is the I/O shield. So let's open that up. Come on. There we go. Take that out. That allows for a custom number of and types of ports on the back of the motherboard, but then also covers up the spaces between so you don't have a whole bunch of dust getting in. And I'm going to need my paper. I'm going to lay this down on my paper. Keep it looking nice. And this is where visibility for you viewers might not be so great, but we're going to do the best we can. And I'm going to need to stand up. Let's get these cables out again. Pull these to the side. Front input. Looks like we need to put our standoffs down. So we need 2, 4, 6 standoffs. This board has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots for them. So we're going to get those set. Looks like we won't be able to attach the 2 bottom ones, but that's fine. So we'll put the I/O shield in once we have all the standoffs set. Get all this junk out. Got a speaker and a selection of screws. Oh, another one of those little socket tools. That's really nice. I like that quite a lot. Okay, so you're going to take your standoffs, which are these little gold guys, and you're going to put them in the positions that correspond to the standoff mounting points on your board. And in this case, there are 6 on the board, but only 4 of them will line up. The 2 others would roughly be here and here, but that's not how this case works. But since it's such a small board, it's not going to be a problem with flex or anything like that. The graphics card sits right next to these 2 that I'm putting in now, so it will have stability. Oh, it would seem we've got a situation. Hopefully you don't have my screensaver going. That would be crappy. Let's get rid of that. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, sorry about that. I'm really sorry if that screwed everybody up. Let's do this. Super sorry about the delay here, folks. Wow, I'm really not doing so good at this. Well, this is not great. Hold on. Okay, sorry about the confusion. There I go trying to save energy by using my screensaver and stop burn-in on an LCD that almost never gets it. Anyway, I'll be back over in front of it in just a second here. Sorry for the delay again. All right. Where did we leave off? Standoffs. That's where we left off. So, let's get these things in here. There's one. Man, these things are hard to get to. Two, maybe. There's my second one. Number three. These sure don't feel like the holes for them are threaded. Excuse my sniffles. That their holes are threaded correctly, but this is the case we got. So, here we go. There's one, two, whoop, three, and four. Standoffs in. Okay. Next, we'll want the I/O shield here. Gets clipped in to the back. This fan being pre-installed is a pain in the butt. I'm going to uninstall it because I'm replacing it anyway. So it can go. Somewhere I had a ratcheting screwdriver that my daughter was using on her build. And that video is coming soon, but it's got some editing to be done. Her building, actually disassembling and then building her first PC that's not actually her PC. So, man, I wish I had my ratcheting driver right now. See if I can see it from afar. I cannot. Yeah, okay. I'll take it out. All right. That fan goes. There are the screws for it. And now I can see to put my I/O shield in. Okay. Should just snap in. There's little metal tabbies on them that make them click in. Come on. Okay. This appears to be in. Well, maybe not. Okay, well, that's it. We're going to put the case or the board in now. So you'll line up these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, not these back two here, to your standoffs. The I/O section of the board is going to go up against that I/O shield. You just want to lower it in here carefully. Make sure all your cabling is out of the way. And all those I/O ports should just slide underneath their little connector snaps. Let's see here. Some of these are getting in the way. There we go. Pull these up a little. sure it's up against. Let's see what's hanging us up. There we go. Actually, it seems some of the little grounding tabs aren't quite sitting where they should, so I'm going to pull those to their appropriate spots. Trying to keep this I/O shield in. Ouch. Maybe it's that one. Let's see. Sorry. Just got my head in here. Okay. Here's part of the reason why it's crappy. There we go. All right, so now you should have screws here. Two different kinds of screws. And actually 3 different kinds of screws. One of them will match up with the threads of the motherboard standoffs, and there should only be 6 of them for that. So actually, looks like there may be more. Let's go ahead and consult the manual. Oh, but that's the manual for the case that we would want, which we have. Excuse me. All right. Which screws do we want? Well, that's highly uninformative. Install 3.5 and 5.25 inch drives. Install motherboard, page 2. Well, that's not very helpful at all. So now I'm just going to have to test thread all of these to see which ones fit. Looks like these little round-topped ones. Come on then. That's not one. Sorting screws. A favorite pastime of every DIYer. Again, apologies for not really being visible here. All right, we're going to make this work. There's another one. It's 4. I don't know why it wouldn't come with more than that. Sorry, I'm just mumbling to myself over here. There we go. That's got to be then. 6 of a kind. They thread into the standoffs. Let's freaking do it. Get one in up here by the I/O shield. This one's the most difficult up here in this corner. So I want to get that one in first. And actually, with this cooler design, it seems I would have been able to put the actual heatsink on after installing the board, which would have been nice to know. But hey, I haven't used this board before, so we'll have to just take what we get. As my daughter's kindergarten teacher used to tell her, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But she was not a very nice lady. Okay, I'm giving up. I'm going for this one that's closer because I have to hold the board against the I/O shield a little bit here. There's one. Get another one in over here at this side. So I'm going to go to this corner here. Oh, tell me I can get in there. Okay. 2 down. Now that I don't have to hold things in place, I can easier get to the other one that's being a pain in the butt. Get those guys down. Let's see if I can get this on there. Man, this is a pain in the butt. I wish I had a better way to do this. Grab this from way back here. Oh no, that's the last thing I wanted. Okay. Oh, of course, now it's wedged underneath the board. So, we don't like that. Take it out. Which one do we have locking us up here? There we go. Pull it back out. And this time, I think what I might do, lost a standoff at the screw. Screw there. We have a standoff situation. Got ourselves a good old standoff. Well, that's no fun. Good thing it came with an extra. There we go. All right. Now this time, I'm going to see if I can set that one screw into the motherboard hole that will take it. And see if that'll get us down in there. Easier now. I need to replace this thing. I think I'm going to really tighten that one down because that one proven to be a pain in the butt. There. Okay. Just a moment here. Okay, sorry about the pause in the action there. Now with that screw sitting in that screw hole, I'm going to go ahead and lower this back down, which this may not actually be the greatest idea. Going to have to find a way to get that thing in there. I don't know what way that's going to be because this is a real pain in the butt. I suppose I could take out the power supply. Let's do that. Dang it. That's why. Dang it. Picked up the wrong screw. At least set this off a little bit so I can, yeah, there we go. That way I can get down there and TCB. Oh yeah, there we go. Get in there. There we go. Get that one in. Get another one of these in on this motherboard I/O side. Put the power supply back. Tighten the other two. And call it a motherboard installed. One. Back in your spot. I'm going to take a load off. Spin things here a little. Okay, power supply. Gotta hold your tongue right, or it won't work. If your dad didn't tell you that when you were growing up learning how to build stuff, you missed out. But I'm telling you now, you gotta hold your tongue right, or it won't work. I'll loosen this. I wasn't holding my tongue right. Okay. This case wants to fight with me. Well, I'm not in a fighting mood, Case. I'm just gonna do what I say. Take your power supply back. Okay. One more for the power supply. Don't you go nowhere. Okay. Come on, you little joker. Good. So that's a good thing to know about this case, is that it's pretty tough to get to that as you're looking at it. Top left, or however, this corner motherboard mounting screw with the power supply installed. So that's a good thing to know. Okay, the rest of that hardware is for mounting drives, etc. Expansion cards. Anyway, got the board into the case. Now it's time to hook up some cables. Try to figure out where. Oh yeah, there. Okay, so it looks like we may need to put our drive in at this point. Our storage drive, which is here. Now I did not unbox this guy on the channel because it's just a white label 1 terabyte drive. Nothing special. White label just means it's made by one of the larger manufacturers, but it's sold unbranded, typically to system builders. So nothing special. You just witnessed the entire unboxing of that. So there we go. There's our hard drive. Take it out of the package and get it in there. This one who knows? But we're going to use it. Now, here's another situation where I probably should have... Yep. I'm going to have to take the stupid motherboard out again. Okay. Well, potentially not. Let's see. I don't want to have to pull... Maybe we've got another mounting point for a hard drive. How about this? We'll mount it thusly. Where are my mounting screws? Mounting points, I should say. It would kind of be nice to mount it down here. But that doesn't seem to be in the cards. So it looks like I will need to take the board out again and mount this in the appropriate spot, though. It would seem there really is no specific... If you want to use a floppy drive in this, not that anybody does, but if you want to use something in your 3.5-inch expansion bay, you'll need to put that in there before you put the motherboard in. Dang it! Oh well. It's a little extra experience. I'll appreciate it when I level up. And I've got 2 more motherboard screws to put in anyway, so it wasn't locked down. Screw, screw you, screw. Singing is not my forte. So here we go. This goes in the little slide here. And what do you know? It lines up perfectly. Okay, let's mount that. Make sure we've got the screws for it. Well, now this is dumb. How are you supposed to get a screw in there without having some tactics like this? Just how is that supposed to happen? I guess you're supposed to have a magnetic driver, but there's still something about using magnets around a computer that I'm not really a fan of, especially at a hard drive. So, yeah, my finger doesn't go in there. There we go. So this is not my favorite case to build in, as you may have guessed at this point. And I'm going to leave those a little loose at the moment. Pull the other side panel off so I can get the other side screws into it. I want it mounted properly. Side panel. This I/O shield. This case, there's a few things to be desired in the eyes of a case builder, or a system builder. There. Click in. Okay. This hard drive mounted. It's gonna be there. Oh man, that is some flimsy metal. Don't want to lean my arm on that. Get your bend on. Those really aren't intended to support anything other than the motherboard, so I don't know why I thought I could lean my arm on it in the first place. Tighten up those two. Okay. Now I've got my storage drive in. Let's put the back panel on. Side panel, whichever panel. Panel. Okay. Two of these back in. Not on correctly. I/O shield. Not a big fan of the I/O shield situation on this case, folks. Lay this down to put this back on. This plastic out of there. I don't want to take too much of it off. But I do want to get this side panel back on correctly. There it goes. All right. Yeah. Give this guy a good wipe down, fingerprints and all that. While it may be wise for me to leave that open so that I can do some preliminary cable management, I think I'm not going to do that. Don't worry, I'm just throwing screws everywhere. Making sure I don't have any more loose ones in there. Appears I do not. Now we get to do this motherboard trick over again. Man. Okay. Power supply. Okay, power supply back out of the way. Bring this back my way. Okay, got screws. 1, 2, 3. 4. Those guys right there. Okay. And as long as I can find... Now, I thought I had 6 of a kind. 1, 2... Well, these are the ones that thread, so we're using those. One moment, please. My apologies. Anyone who knows me knows I tend to perspire, and dripping into a circuit board is really not advisable. All right. Get that guy out of the way. Put this thing back in. Some close clearance there on the hard drive to the RAM. Oh, that's right. This I/O shield is not clicked in. There. There we go. Driver, screwdriver. This is an experience, y'all. Building in this box is a bit of a challenge, you might say. This whole damn thing's gonna have to come out. I don't know, somebody might have long, skinny enough hands that they can do all this without taking that power supply out, but I've got semi-gorilla mitts, so it's not an option for me. All right, I'm gonna make sure that that screw is tightened down. Okay, power supply back in. Sit back down to put that in. There we go. Sorry about the noise. The screwdriver is close enough to the table on that one that the grips on it kind of rattle as I rotate it. Loosen that up. A turn or three. And get the others back on. Two of them started. I get the other two. So anyone who is thinking about getting the Epivia Trooper or X Trooper Junior, just know that if you got big hands, there are some spots that are going to make it not the easiest to work with. And that top corner motherboard mounting screw is one of them. Hard drive might be another one, but if you're not an idiot like me, you can avoid that. All right, power supply back in, board in, hard drive in. Let's see what we can do about front panel connectors. Okay. First of all, let's get, this is my USB 3. Do I have a USB 3? Yes, I do. That guy goes here. Rotate it. USB 3 for the front of the board, or front of the case. Come on. There we go. So that's a little bit tight, but it's in there. Okay. What else do we have? We have front panel audio in an AC97. Where is my front panel audio? AAFP. Front panel speaker. Audio front panel. Here's my audio. So down here in the corner. Put that on. There we go. Now I want to make sure that this USB 3 connector is fully seated. That's a pretty tight fit. I think we're okay. All right. That one, I think I'm going to tuck that back right now for cable management because, yeah. back behind the board to begin with. Same with that guy. Okay. I'm going to tie those out of the way at some point, but let's get our front panel controls switches mounted or connected up. Okay, HDD LED. Let's get the book out for this so we can make sure we get our front panel header pinned up correctly. LAN port, CPU, DIMMs. Where is my front panel hookup? No? You don't want to tell me that? Audio. Okay, well, let's do what we can. Okay, first of all, I have a hard drive activity LED. Aha! I see the little key. So what I'm going to do is light it up. I can find out what the hell's going on here. Sorry if that gets in everybody's way, but you got to be seeing what you're doing. Maybe over here. Power LED, HD LED, reset, power button. Great. HDD LED. Okay. Hard drive. Next to that is reset switch, power switch, power LED. This way. Those on. Power button is next to it. Power switch, orange in this case. Make sure I get it on the right header, not the audio speaker header. And next we've got reset switch here. Where's my last one? There it is. Got to have a hard drive indication, activity indicator LED. Who would know if their hard drive was working without that? No one? Okay. Now there is a little speaker that came with this case. And just because I'm mounting everything in sort of an OEM way, I am going to go ahead and plug in the speaker and use that so we can get our boot beep. Speaker. Okay. We'll use the speaker to kind of wrangle in these other cables. Great. So that's front panel controls and LEDs in these multicolors. Let me get that out of the way. Multicolors get up to that header. So now the only other thing coming out of the case is this USB 3 header, and that's connected, and this front audio header, and that's connected. So that should really be about it. Next, we're going to hook up power to the things that need it. And at some point, I'm really going to get upset with this USB 3 cable. I want it out of my way. Stay. All right, when you're going for power supply cables, the first thing we're going to do is plug in your main 24 pin. Most of them come in a 20 plus 4. And they kind of just clip together lightly, and then you clip it into the board. So. There we go. There's that main connector. That plugged on. Get in there. There it went. Click. Okay. Cable to be managed thusly. Okay. And you got a 4-pin for your V-core. Your 12 volts to run your processor. Get that in there. Click. Cable back to be managed. What is this guy? Okay. That's right for now. The only other power stuff. Right now we got to figure out our power scenario. So I need to hook up a SATA cable power. That's this one here, the thin connector, and this power supply only comes with one, to this drive. Now that RAM being in there might be a problem, but we're going to kind of force a right angle connector out of this power cable. And come on, you know you want to go on there, right? Don't make me go all Adam Sandler golf ball on you. Okay, so there's that. Take one of these SATA cables. This is the signal cable. The other one we just hooked up was the power. And this one actually has a right angle connector, which is nice. But I'm not sure which end I want to put that on. And it's a locking connector. Yeah, I'm going to put that at this end onto the drive. Plug that one into my 6 gigabit port. SATA 6 gigabit 1 is right here next to the 24 pin. So let's give that a connection. Plug that in, get the cable a little out of the way. Now, just because I want to be sure how things get hooked up, let's see. Okay, well that's an easy enough thing. I was trying to figure out if the number 1 port for SATA somehow ties in with the M.2, but it's easy enough to change which SATA port the board is plugged, or the drive is plugged into. So next, what do we have left? We've got fans for the CPU cooler. Ooh, that's going to be a tight fit in there next to those RAMs. But we'll make it work. So let's get our fan situated. We have 2 white LED fans to add. And I got to decide where I want those to go. I think I'm going to mount them I'm going to mount one in the front. Put this rear fan back on in a bit here because I've got to get the cooler fans on. Now, what sucks is this fan that was installed already has got little foamies on top of the screws on adhesive, and they're keeping me from replacing this fan. So what I'm going to do is just use it. I'll put, except that I don't like which way it's going, so we're going to change it. I don't like which way it's pointing, and I don't want it to be the colored fan. In the white LED lit. Boy, that doesn't sound bad, does it? I don't want red messing up all the neutral color if somebody doesn't want a red build. So we'll take these little mounting clips off of the red LED fan that came with this machine. Machine being the CPU cooler. I'm going to put this one on the back of the CPU cooler, kind of like, I don't know, or maybe I'll put it on the exhaust back at the very back. Regardless, I'm going to use the red cooler to indicate where the warmth is. Because I have for this, actually, I may have another spot to hook up a fan. Let's see, I may have enough fans to do what I actually would like to do with this, so bear with me one moment. What LED is this? Oh, that's blue, though. I do not have what I was hoping I had. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's put the red fan. That would have been too big anyway. Let's put the red fan at the back. Blowing hot air out. We'll put the two white fans Here's one of the two white fans. And I think what I'm going to do is actually mount these to the, one of them to the cooler, or maybe up in the front. Sorry, y'all, hadn't completely planned this out yet. So I need chassis fan. Where's my CPU fan header? There it is. Okay. Figure out how to get these guys mounted onto the Alright, so it looks like we may be fighting with some clearance issues with our parts. I'm going to go ahead and pull this CPU cooler block off. We'll have to reapply thermal paste, but it's nice that this block doesn't have to be removed from the back at all. Well, looks like my application of thermal paste was pretty well correct. Although I did get a little more than I wanted, so I am going to clean that up here. Good thing. Good thing I opened it up. I just don't like it to seep down around the heat spreader and threaten getting any lower than that. Okay, now let's see, let's mount fans to this. Try to do that without getting thermal paste all over us. Now let's see here. This fan goes on this side, if possible. Let's find out. All those stickers. Dang it. Oh well. We can cut new ones, and it looks like I've only lost one of them. Which I don't like, but that's life. Okay, now how did these clip on? You know, we're going to change up the plan here. See if I can mount. Nope, that one's a bit too big. Maybe, maybe not. Well, let's see. Maybe not. Put this guy back on the front, which I should have left him in the first place, whatever. This goes here, which means this goes here. Oh, but where do I want my cable? Yeah, I want it like this. So, put these back on. The front of that fan look like. Part of the fun of this is kind of customizing as you go, the way you need to hook things up. How many screws you want falling into your heatsink. It's all up to you. So I'm just connecting this clip back to the fan from whence it came. There we go. And I'm going to put what was originally the rear chassis fan onto the back of the cooler so we can do kind of a push-pull through our heatsink. Now once again, this processor that we're using, this i3-6100, it really doesn't generate enough heat to warrant using this much cooling, but I want the person who buys this to be able to upgrade without needing to do anything right away other than buy the part they need, which would be the CPU in this instance. Okay, got that on. Got that on. Let's clip this one back to the front. Okay. There we go. Clip that clipped on. There. Click. It's on. Now, now I've pasted up the countertop. That was bound to happen at some point. Having the cooler off and having paste on it. Okay. Let's get the fan on the other side. Which will be this one, and it will be pulling air out of that. And we also want its cable to be in the same spot. So here are my other two mounters. Nice. I should have screws for that. Actually, I think these are the screws that came out of this. So I'm going to reuse them. Yeah, these are they. Let's go like that, which means I need them to be like this. So those are not good screws to use. These ones are better because they have pointy tips, which will allow them to thread into this plastic. Straight. Sorry, this is almost completely out of view. Where is my last clip? There that is. Go. Make sure those are all set low enough to be flush. Get that off to the side. And let's clip this guy on. Oh yeah. Now you're cooling way too much. Okay. So there's that. And why is my cable coming through my fan like that? Oh. Okay, just came out of its routing is all. But I have it on upside down. So we're going to fix that. There we go. Get this thing routed. There we go. Same side. Okay. Moment of truth. We'll leave the paste on. See what we get. We get a situation. Yeah, a situation. Part of it being that I can't tighten this down with the fans on it, so that's part of it. The other part of it being we may have to slide that red LED fan up or something so that it'll not interfere, because that's craziness. The RAM may be too tall to allow the fan to sit on there. Okay, this may not work, but that's all right. That's about as close as it can get. Well, the fan is sitting on the directly on the RAM, so there's that. And hopefully we can get the side panel to close with it sitting like this. Okay. Fan power connector hooked up. If I can do that without having to pull this stupid power supply out again. My fogging glasses up. That's fogging glasses. Dang it. This power supply. Power supply is the bane of my existence today. Okay, this thing's just going to come out and stay out till we're done with it. Okay, set that there. One moment, please. Bear with me. Found that other little foamy. Okay, back in the game. Got that stupid power supply out of the way. Now, we need to plug that fan in. Fan. this back fan on. Oh, that only wants to be powered that way anyway. Good. There we go. Other fan. This case fan. This to take air out. I'm going to hide my cable up in here. So this is my mounting point for that. All right. Ugh. Okay, there we go. White fan in the back. One more for that. Okay. Okay, powering these fans may be a bit of a pain in the butt. We'll figure it out. Chassis fan. I am going to plug that in here. There we go. That there. It's pretty well managed too. Okay. Sorry, just kind of babbling to myself here. So there's the fan. Now I got to figure out where I'm going to put my next fan. I think I'm going to put it in the front. So that means I think it's time to put the power supply back in for the last time. Okay, last fan is going to go in at the front. Maybe the bottom. Yeah, we'll put it in the bottom. Certainly not as though we're at a loss for cooling. So, but actually, this won't look as good down there. Bringing air in from the bottom. We're going to put it in the front. So let's put the power supply back in. Once again. Actually, let's see if we can get some of this cabling routed behind it before we go back in. We'll just leave it. We can manage later. All right, this power supply, I hope this is your last outing. Damn, thought I had one started. Now I do. That's crummy. Supply. Like a stick in my eye. Okay. All right, you little pain in the butt. Now, let's see what we have to do to get the front off of this thing. Does it just pull off? Does it have to be screwed off? Looks like it might just pull off. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. Front comes off. Looks like I unplugged a little doer. Alright, you'll go back in a bit here. Oh, I see what it is. Okay, yeah, I'll put that back. That's my front panel audio. Got a little screwed up. Okay. Second fan, here it is. Let's find out where we're going to put it. I think I'll put it at the bottom. If I can get this over where you might be able to see. Yeah, I think I want the fan at the bottom because we want as cool air as we can get. plus the little cable management for it is right there. That makes it nice and convenient. Looks like I can mount it on either side. Maybe not. Let's see. I'm going to try to mount it from that side and see if I can. Mount it from the inside so that the LEDs for this fan are as close to the front of the case as possible. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, but what good things aren't? Here's a set of screws. Don't worry, I'm back here. Okay, some screws. Wonder if I can get that to sit up there. Yeah, that's where I want it. You stay. Like this. One. Two. Now let's see if this fan fits under you. Looks like it doesn't fit on the front of the case, you know, just behind the plastic front fascia, unless I move it to the other spot, so that's okay. There it is. Come through. So we can mount up to you. Okay, where's my driver? Oh man, this is gonna be a problem. Gonna need a shorter screwdriver. Gotta see if I can get that driver ratchet, because it's shorter too. Here it is. It's going to enable me. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated than it should be because I'm trying to do something custom here. But that's okay. Okay, take that off. Set this to the side. Get some rotation. And let's see if I can tighten one of those screws up in here. There we go. That's nice, right? I guess I'll come in the other way for that one. Oh, I do have 3. Oh, for fuck's sakes. There we go. Switch the ratchet on my screwdriver. These guys have little rubber grommets, so the fans, so you don't want to tighten them down too much. It'll stop the usefulness of that vibration damping that you get from it. Okay. Well, there go all my plans of having a pretty custom look, because I can't fit it in there. Isn't that always a problem? It just doesn't fit. That'll teach me. Well, that means I get to put the fan back in the bottom at least. Which is where I wanted it in the first place. Oh, that's right. Yep, pull an air in. This is the front. Okay. So there's the fan in the front. Plug that front audio back in. Make sure everything else is coming through as it should, which it seems to be doing. And we'll pop this back on. Come on, maybe. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Little clips. Okay, fan is installed. Now let's get all the fans connected. Let's get everything else connected that needs to be connected. This will power 2 fans. That will power 2 fans, which means there's that one. Okay. Through to 2. Okay. There we go. Get a long cable out of it. Cable management, ladies and gentlemen. Cable management. Because nobody likes a messy rig. This video card doesn't require a 6-pin power connector. I was a little... Hi, I'm back here. I was a little bit worried, but that's why I got that one. Okay, so this doesn't need to be there. This... Okay, at this point, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get everything powered up. Make sure it boots. And then I'll do all the cleanup another time. And by cleanup, I mean like cable management and whatnot. Although I do need to get these lined up for where they're generally going to go. Which is hiding up here in the top, like any normal person would do. So this is powered by the board, this is powered by the board, this one's not, and that one's not. Okay, that's easy enough. So this fan that was the original exhaust at the back of the case uses only a 4-pin Molex connector. And I have 4-pin Molex connectors that also then power 2 fans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the power supply cable, I can fish one out. Here's my 4-pin power supply connector. Here's the fan connector. We're going to put those together because the fan has pass-through. Then I can connect this guy to that and power my front fan. And what's nice is there's another connector there. So if someone wants to add the other fan at some point, that can be done. But we're getting very close here. Pass this behind. Okay. Fan. Okay, I think I can put this back panel on now. And I'll open it back up when I'm ready to do my final cable management, because I also have cable sleeving that I'm going to be installing, and that's not going to be fun viewing for much of anyone, not even myself. There we go. Close up, ya monkey. There's the other one. And back on its side. That plastic out of there. Okay, let's get the graphics card in. That's the fun bit. All this other stuff out of the way. Out of the way, other stuff. You're not as important. Okay, let's open up this thing. There's the card, and there's accessories in there, but we don't need them because they're just a disc. Okay, so there's our card. We are going to need to pull out another one of these clips. Holy cow, this is weird. Well, this is a weird situation for these rear I/O slots, because you got to just mangle that thing to get it out, but luckily it's not a replacing part. It's not something you've got to take care of later. Okay, pull off the cover there. Get your card, get your cables out of the way, and boy, it's a good thing I'm not using a bigger card. All right, let's slot this into its home. Man. Okay, that's what's going on. This has like a little removable I/O thingy for cards, which is weird, but okay. A couple screws to remove it. Come in here where maybe somebody can see what I'm doing. Then this thing comes off, and then this thing goes in. Slot that in. Done and done. Okay. Then we can just take the cover here, This is an interesting solution, but whatever. Well, that's the only expansion card we're putting in. Tighten back down the cover. And we will use one additional screw because I like it to be secure. I can find one I want to use. Whatever. There we go. Card in. USB. There's that. Okay. We got a motherboard. We got a processor. We got RAM. We got a power supply. We got fans. We got a hard drive. We got a solid state drive. We got a video card. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much all of it. Now, the last thing that I need to do is figure out... Oh, right. I do have another fan. Is figure out if I can even make the thing close. And it looks like what I'm going to have to do is move this fan, either remove it completely or possibly just down to the lower mount. Oh, I don't like to do that, but whatever. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Because this fan is not going to allow us to use that cooler, at least not with the fan in the position it is. So we're going to move it down, and that'll allow it to feed air to the graphics card much better anyway. This is one that I know I can move. And I believe this is a blue LED fan, so we'll kind of follow the, I don't think I'm going to put the LEDs in this build, but we'll follow the idea that, like, cool air in by the blue, warm air out by the black. Or by the red. scratch things up, hopefully. Oh, oh well, let's see. We can do it later. That's got to be in that position. This position. Keep that covered. Pull this one back a little ways more. Hold on. There we go, just so I can get to those two screws. Sorry you can't see this. Just tighten this fan back into the lower position on the side panel. I'll let us fit our cooler, CPU cooler, and it'll help pull in air for the graphics card. There we go. Pull that back down. Okay, now the fitment question comes into question. Oh no, it's not gonna go. All right, so we don't put fans on this. We're gonna lose a fan.